Hello and welcome to this lesson in Design and Technology. For this lesson we're going to be looking at design movements and different styles, but first it's really important that we have a good idea of what you already know. So for your starter, I would like you to write down a list on your whiteboard of all the design movements or art movements that you are already aware of. Pause the video here to give yourself plenty of time. Current designers analyze the work of others whenever they are looking at creating a new product. Who can remind me what the term analyze means? Well done to everybody who gave it a go or raised their hands. Analyze means to investigate something in detail by looking at a variety of design elements such as aesthetics, cost, customer, environment, size, safety, function, and materials. You might notice that the first letters for each of those words are in bold, and that is because these words make up the acronym Access FM, which we use a lot in design and technology to help remind us of all the different areas that we would like to analyze when looking at designs, designers, or pretty much anything. We would not have the products we have if it wasn't for past designers and influencers. Their styles have since evolved, but they are still used as inspiration for current day designs. Design styles and movement. The following slides show you visual examples of a variety of design styles and movements. For this lesson, we're going to investigate 4. Arts and crafts movement. Say what you see. How would you describe this design movement? Pause the video here and give yourself plenty of time to review the images or analyze the images and say what you see. Thank you so much for everyone who contributed to that discussion there. So what did we see? I'm going to go over a couple of things that I saw when I looked at these images from the arts and crafts movement. I saw dull and earth tone colours, natural and organic. You've got an image of a rabbit on a ceramic tile. You've got the goose bowl, daffodil vase, and the floral patterning in the top right hand corner. Very floral. Again, if we look at the top right hand corner, the chair's got some kind of floral patterning on it, as well as that textile print previously. And wooden as well. So the furniture that you can see on the slide are 2 different pieces of chairs, and they're both made out of the same wooden material. And then finally, ceramics. So looking at the actual materials that are on this slide, I can see wood, ceramic, but I can also see textiles as well. Here is the next design movement that we're going to look at, and this is called Art Deco. So, say what you see. How would you describe this design movement? Again, pause the video here to give yourself plenty of time before we collaborate and go over some ideas and responses. So, thank you so much for everybody who contributed to that discussion. I just want to go over a couple of thoughts that I had for Art Deco. Bolder colours, so there's less earth tones. Repeat patterns. Metallic colours. And geometric shapes. So for this design movement, we've moved away from the floral and the natural tones. We've gone more into linear or geometric patterns instead. And in regards to the repeat patterns, these can also be known as sunburst patterns because they all have the same point of origin. And what I mean by that, if I use one of the middle patterns here, If I just draw onto my slide, you can see that all of these rays or pattern pieces, they all start from the same point, and that is also known as sunburst because it is just like the sun in a background. Next one, modernism. So once again, say what you see. How would you describe this design movement? Again, pause the video here and take some time to think about the words you'd use to describe them. Thank you again for everybody who contributed or collaborated in that discussion. I just want to share a couple thoughts and opinions that I had for these images here that represent modernism. Bright, bold colours, a massive change to what we've seen previously. Contrasting colours as well. Some of you may have also noticed or pointed out that this movement has used a lot of primary colours, so blue, red and yellow. Linear or rectangular shapes. And geometric shapes as well. So not many curves and not many flowing lines. Last but not least, we have streamline. Once again, I'd like you to say what you see. How would you describe this design movement? Pause the video here and give yourself plenty of time to have a think and reflect on these images. Thank you so much to everybody who collaborated and contributed to the discussion. On the screen straight away you can see my responses because I've got a few more this time. So streamline, I see a lot of chrome, so a lot of metal work. It's quite dark in colour compared to what we've seen previously. I can see a new textile which is leather on that chair. Vehicles have also been added here. And home products as well, because just in case you weren't sure, we have our chair and then the image below it is a desktop fan. So I'm going to introduce you to task 1, but first I want to remind you as to why we look at design movements or influences, and that is to give us inspiration for our own design ideas. So this is your task. Our school chairs are not the most aesthetically pleasing or nice to look at. Your task is to redesign the school chairs using the design movements you have just seen as inspiration. So you will each get a worksheet, and on the worksheet will be 4 faintly drawn chairs that look similar to our school chairs. You can draw over these images with pencil to either darken the line, or you can change the shape entirely. So let me go over the task list for you, the specific tasks that you must do in order to complete this successfully. You must create 4 different design ideas. You must sketch in pencil. You can change the shape of the chair, but you cannot add any additional functions. So no wheels, no cup holders, no recliners. I know you're probably thinking, oh, but these chairs aren't the comfiest, and it'll be lovely to do that. But they're school chairs, guys. We've got to keep them a little bit realistic. If we all had wheels, no one would sit still, let's be honest. Next one, you can add colour once each design is complete, and then you can also add labels to the designs to help identify some of those key features that you've chosen to use from those design movements. So for this task you'll have between 10 and 15 minutes. Depending on how quick you are to use the following mood board as inspiration. So the next slide in the video shows you the mood board, or all 4 of them, which you can obviously pause onto, so you have them in front of you to use as inspiration. Thank you so much for all of your hard work for task 1 so far. Now we're on to the final task, which is task 2. At the bottom of each design, write a short statement that explains which design movement you have used as inspiration. Now, if we look at those boxes, they're not the biggest. I'm not looking for essays here, just 2 or 3 short sentences that helps to explain the design movement you chose and why. And I'd like to give you some examples to help you, as well as some sentence starters. So your sentence starters you could use for this activity are: for this design, I was inspired by. You can see this by the. Blank was really inspirational to me because blank. So let me just give you a very quick waggle to help you. So I'm going to use the first 2 sentence starters in that bright yellow box. For this design, I was inspired by the arts and crafts design movement. Full stop. You can see this by the way I have used floral and organic shapes in my design, as well as earth tones. Full stop. 1 short sentence and 1 full sentence there. Perfect explanation. And I'm going to try and use the final sentence below. Streamline was really inspirational to me because I loved the use of chrome metallic colours and curved shapes. Full stop. There we go. Hopefully that was helpful to you, and I hope you've enjoyed this lesson today. Feel free to pause the video here if you need the instructions on the screen.